Imagine walking into Dollar Tree for a pack of napkins, and walking out with a secret weapon for your garden. Sounds wild, right? But trust me, some of the best gardening hacks aren't sitting in the garden aisle at all. They're tucked away in places you'd never expect, waiting to save you money and make your plants thrive. Hey timeless gardeners, welcome back. And if it's your very first time here, I'm so glad you found us. This is the little corner of the internet where we turn pocket change into garden magic. If you love the idea of growing more while spending less, you're in the right place. Now do me one quick favor. Before we dig in, tap that like button so more people can uncover these hidden gems. And hit subscribe if you want simple, clever tips that keep your garden beautiful without breaking the bank. Alright, let's step into Dollar Tree and discover the unexpected treasures waiting for your plants. Hack number 1. Turn shower caddies into a vertical garden. Alright, so let's start with something that's probably sitting in the bathroom aisle at Dollar Tree. Those little wire shower caddies. Most people only see them as a spot to hold shampoo and soap. But when you're a gardener, you learn to look at things differently. Here's how I use them. Grab 2 or 3 caddies. They usually come in a rectangle or curved shape. Instead of hanging them in the bathroom, we're going to stack them into a vertical planter. You can attach them together using zip ties, garden wire, or even a bit of sturdy twine if that's all you have. Once they're connected, hang the whole piece on a sunny wall, fence or balcony railing. Now here's the magic. Because they're made of wire, they allow plenty of airflow around the plants, which helps keep the soil from getting soggy and reduces the chance of mold or fungus. I like to line mine with a bit of coconut liner, or even coffee filters. Yes, the ones from the kitchen aisle, another Dollar Tree score. That way, the soil stays in place, but water can still drain easily. What can you grow in them? Think compact plants, herbs like basil, parsley, thyme, trailing plants like strawberries, or even a mix of colorful succulents. You're basically creating a living piece of wall art, and it only costs a few bucks compared to the expensive vertical planters you see online. So next time you're walking past that shower aisle, don't see a bathroom accessory, see a garden waiting to happen. Hack number 2. Dish racks as DIY drying stations for herbs. Now this one is going to make you smile, because it's so simple. The dish rack from Dollar Tree. Yep, the one meant to hold your plates and cups in the kitchen. But in the garden world, it becomes the perfect little herb drying station. Here's how I use it. When you harvest herbs like mint, basil, oregano or thyme, you don't want them piling up on the counter where they can mold or lose their oils too quickly. Instead, take that dish rack, flip it on its side, and suddenly all those little slots meant for plates are perfect for slipping in bunches of herbs. You can tie the herbs with a rubber band, also from Dollar Tree, and hang them upside down, letting air move all around them. The rack's design allows airflow from every angle, which is exactly what you want when drying herbs naturally. And the cutlery cup that comes with it. That's where I tuck in smaller sprigs, or even seed packets I want to keep safe while drying. Here's the best part. Because the rack is light and portable, you can move it to wherever you have the best conditions. Sunny windowsill, shady porch, or even indoors near a fan. No need to buy those expensive drying racks online. This $1.25 kitchen find does the job beautifully. So next time you're picking up a dish rack, don't just think of it as a kitchen helper. Think of it as your mini herb preserving station. Hack number 3. Pool noodles as garden protectors. Alright, let's head over to the toy aisle. You've seen those bright pool noodles stacked up, right? Most people think of them as summertime fun for the kids, but in the garden they're absolute lifesavers. Here's the trick. Cut the noodle open lengthwise, and you've just created soft, flexible padding. Slip it over the edge of raised garden beds, sharp buckets, or even greenhouse frames. Suddenly you've got protection from cuts, scrapes and wear and tear, for both you and your plants. I also use small pieces of pool noodles as plant collars. Just cut a slice, slip it around the base of a young plant, and it acts like a barrier. That stops cutworms and other ground-hugging pests from chewing at the stems. Plus, because the noodle is made of foam, it keeps a little pocket of moisture around the soil surface, almost like a micro-mulch. And here's another little gem. If you garden with tomatoes or tall peppers, you can slice the noodles into chunks and use them as protective cushions, where your plant ties meet the stake. That way the stems don't rub and get damaged. One pool noodle can be cut into a dozen different garden helpers, and it costs less than a cup of coffee. Not bad for something most people only see floating in a swimming pool. Hack number 4. Over-the-door shoe organizers as seedling nurseries. Now here's one of my favorites, because it turns something so ordinary into a total space saver. You know those clear plastic over-the-door shoe organizers at Dollar Tree? The ones with all those little pockets? Well, forget shoes. Those pockets are perfect mini greenhouses for seedlings. Here's how it works. Hang the organizer on a sunny fence, balcony railing, or even inside near a bright window. Each pocket becomes its own little planting space. I like to punch a tiny drainage hole at the bottom of each pocket. Then add a scoop of potting mix. Drop in your seeds or small starter plants, and you've instantly got rows of seedlings, without needing bulky trays. The clear plastic pockets act like mini greenhouses, trapping just enough warmth and humidity to help young plants thrive. And because each pocket is separate, if one plant has an issue like fungus or pests, it doesn't spread to the others. Plus, it's a huge space saver. You're literally growing up instead of out, which is perfect for small gardens, patios, or apartment balconies. And when your seedlings are ready, you just pluck them out and transplant them to bigger pots, or straight into the ground. For a couple of bucks, you've built yourself a seed starting wall that looks way more creative, and way cheaper than the fancy vertical planters you see online. Hack number 5. Baking cooling racks as climbing plant supports. Now here's one that hides in the kitchen aisle, but works like it was designed for the garden. Baking cooling racks. You know the little wire grids, meant for cookies and cakes to cool on. Well, in the garden they double as sturdy mini trellises. Here's how I use them. If you're growing climbing plants like peas, beans, or even cucumbers, just stick a couple of these racks into the soil side by side, and you've got an instant support system. You can secure them to garden stakes, or even zip tie a few together to make a taller panel. The grid is just the right size for little tendrils to grab onto. And it's not just for veggies. You can also use them for flowering vines like morning glories, or sweet peas, if you want to add a splash of beauty to your garden. Another neat trick: lay the rack flat over freshly planted beds. It acts like a protective barrier, keeping cats, birds, and curious critters from digging, while still letting sunlight and rain through. The best part is that these racks are lightweight, rust-resistant, and cheap. So if one bends or gets old, you don't feel bad swapping it out. Compare that to pricey garden trellises, and you'll realize how much you're saving while still getting the job done. Sometimes the best garden tools aren't in the garden aisle at all. They're sitting quietly in the kitchen, waiting to surprise you. Hack number 6. Plastic shower caps as mini greenhouses. Okay, this one's so clever, it almost feels sneaky. You know those flimsy plastic shower caps you find in the bathroom aisle at Dollar Tree? Usually sold in a pack. Most people grab them for travel or hair care. But gardeners like us, we see tiny greenhouses. Here's how I use them. After planting seeds in small pots or trays, I stretch a shower cap right over the top. Instantly it traps in warmth and moisture, creating the perfect humid environment for seeds to sprout. No need to buy those expensive seed starting domes. This does the same job for pennies. It's also a lifesaver if you're hardening off seedlings outdoors. Let's say the weather suddenly turns chilly, or a light rain pops up. Just pop a shower cap over the pot, and your little plant is shielded. The elastic edge grips snugly around most containers, so it stays put even if there's a breeze. And here's a bonus trick. If you've got herbs or greens growing in containers, cover them with a shower cap at night during cooler months. It keeps the heat in just long enough to stretch your growing season a little further. So the next time you see those packs of shower caps, don't just think of hair protection. Think of a pocket-sized greenhouse factory. Hack number 7. Laundry baskets as DIY potato planters. Now this one is going to change the way you grow root crops. You've probably seen those lightweight plastic laundry baskets in Dollar Tree, right? Most people toss in clothes, but in the garden they become the perfect home for potatoes. Here's why potatoes love loose, well-draining soil. Those holes in the laundry basket allow extra water to escape while still keeping the soil aerated. That means healthier roots and a bigger harvest. And because the basket is tall and deep, It gives your potatoes plenty of room to grow down and multiply. Here's how I set it up. Line the inside of the basket with burlap landscape fabric, or even a cheap trash bag with a few drainage holes punched in the bottom. Fill it about 1/3 with soil. Add your seed potatoes, then cover them up. As the plants grow, keep adding more soil around the stems until the basket fills. This encourages the plant to keep producing more potatoes up the stem. And harvesting, it's the fun part. Instead of digging up your yard, you just tip the basket over and collect your fresh homegrown potatoes in one go. No mess, no broken tubers, no back-breaking work. Laundry baskets are also reusable year after year. So instead of spending big money on fancy potato grow bags, you've got yourself a Dollar Tree version that does the job just as well. Hack number 8. Plastic cutlery trays as seed organizers. Alright, this one's for every gardener who's ever lost a seed packet at the bottom of a drawer. You know those plastic cutlery trays from Dollar Tree, the ones with little sections for forks, spoons and knives. Well, they're the perfect organizers for your seed collection. Here's how I use them. I sort my seed packets by type. Veggies in one slot, herbs in another, flowers in a third. The long compartments keep the packets standing upright, so I can flip through them like recipe cards. No more digging around or realizing you forgot to plant those beans because they were hiding somewhere. Want to take it a step further? Label each section with masking tape or Dollar Tree's chalkboard stickers. That way you can always see exactly what you've got at a glance. You can even keep your seed starting supplies, like plant labels, rubber bands or small baggies, tucked into the smaller slots, so everything's in one place. The tray itself is lightweight, stackable, and easy to slide into a drawer, cabinet, or even a tote bag if you're taking seeds out to the garden. And unlike fancy seed storage boxes that cost way more, this is a $1.25 solution that works just as well, maybe even better, because you can customize it however you like. So instead of clutter, your seeds finally have a home, and you have peace of mind, knowing exactly what's ready to grow. Hack number 9. Plastic tablecloths as weed barriers. Here's a garden hack hiding in the party aisle. Those thin plastic tablecloths Dollar Tree sells for birthdays and cookouts. Most people spread them on picnic tables for a day and toss them out, but in the garden they can be a powerful low-cost weed barrier. Here's how I use them. Roll the tablecloth out over your garden bed before planting. Then cut small X-shaped slits where you want to place your plants. Tuck your seedlings into those slits. Cover the edges of the cloth with soil or rocks to hold it down, and you've just created a homemade mulch layer. What happens is magic. The tablecloth blocks sunlight, which starves weeds underneath. At the same time, it keeps moisture in the soil, so your plants need less watering. It's especially handy for crops like tomatoes, peppers, and melons that appreciate warm soil and hate weed competition. And here's the bonus. Because they come in different colors, you can experiment. Dark colors like black or navy absorb heat. Great for warm-loving veggies. Lighter ones reflect light, which can actually help keep the soil a little cooler during hot months. Instead of spending big on rolls of landscaping fabric, you're getting the same effect from a simple party supply. A garden win and a money saver all in one. Hack number 10. Clear storage bins as cold frames. Now for the grand finale. And this one might just blow your mind. You know those clear plastic storage bins in the Dollar Tree home aisle? The ones with lids that people use for shoes, toys, or random closet clutter. Well, in the garden they transform into mini cold frames. Here's how it works. Flip the bin upside down over your seedlings or small plants, and suddenly you've got a protective dome that traps warmth and shields them from wind, frost, and even curious critters. It's like giving your plants their own cozy greenhouse, without spending a fortune. If you want even more control, use the bin right side up. Fill it with pots or seed trays, snap on the lid, and place it in a sunny spot outdoors. The clear plastic lets in sunlight, while holding on to heat, which means you can start seeds earlier in the spring, or keep growing a little longer into the fall. Just pop the lid open a crack during the day, to let in fresh air, and prevent overheating. I've even seen gardeners stack a few bins together to make a mini greenhouse wall, perfect for balconies, patios, or tiny backyards, where space is tight. And when you're not using it for plants, it goes right back to storing your garden tools, gloves, or seed packets. For just a couple of bucks, you're extending your growing season, something gardeners usually pay big money for. And there you have it, 10 budget-friendly garden hacks, hiding in plain sight at Dollar Tree. Who would have thought that shower caddies, pool noodles, and even party tablecloths could double as garden gold? That's the beauty of gardening on a budget. It's not about spending more, it's about seeing the possibilities in the little things. If you try any of these hacks, let me know in the comments which one surprised you the most. Or better yet, share your own Dollar Tree discoveries. I love learning from this community as much as I love sharing with you. And hey, if today's tips inspired you, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and tap the bell so you never miss a chance to grow more while spending less. Thank you for spending this time in the garden with me. Remember, timeless gardening isn't about perfection. It's about creativity, patience, and enjoying the journey. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll dig into even more ways to make your garden thrive without breaking the bank. Until then, happy planting, my friends.